Is it Ohio?
No, it's O.
10-minute play by Kenneth P. Ryan. Two detectives question a suspect accused of starting a fire near a homeless shelter. Though he has confessed to the crime, the detectives believe he's holding back on the truth. Cast of characters: Detective Sophia Innes, a tough but fair police detective who likes to look at the big picture. She wears business clothes and carries a badge. Detective Paul Danielson, a police detective for many years. He is good at what he does, but is tired of the job. He wears business clothes and carries a badge. Tobias Hassi Toby, a homeless man dressed in shabby and dirty clothes. Seen an interrogation room in a police building. There's a large table in the center of the stage with a chair in the back facing the audience and another chair on the opposite side. Time is the present. At rise, Toby is seated in the chair facing the audience. He looks sad, dejected, and nervous. After a few minutes, detectives Paul and Sophia enter the room from the stage left. Paul carries some papers in a file folder and throws the file on the table. Sophia goes to the other side of the table, stage right. Paul is talking to Toby. Sir Paul?
I'm sorry, yes, I'm sorry,
Okay.
I got lost there for
Okay.
a second. Mr. Haas, you have been arrested for arson. You've been read your rights and you have declined to have a lawyer here for your questioning, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You do realize, Mr. Haas, that a lawyer can be provided for you free of charge,
Yes, ma'am.
and yet you still refuse to have one?
Don't need one.
And why is that?
I done
You done what?
it. I burned it. I lit the fire.
Where?
In the back where I stayed.
You started the fire at the field behind the homeless shelter?
Yeah, me. I done it. I burned it.
Mr. Haas, do you understand that you've been charged with a very serious crime? You could go to jail.
I don't want to go to jail.
Then you should have a lawyer here helping you.
No lawyer. I done it.
Would you be willing to put that in writing?
Not very good at writing.
We could put you on tape, how about that?
Don't care. Just want to go back.
Back to prison?
Back to the shelter.
Prison's where you're going if you say you're guilty and don't have any legal help.
Toby lowers his head and remains silent.
That's good enough for me. Open and shut case. Nice and easy. Let's go.
Heads for the exit stage left.
Wait, Danielson, I have a couple more questions.
Why?
Just hang on a minute. There's some loose ends to tie up.
Paul crosses behind Toby to stage right, takes Sophie by the arm.
What are you doing? There are no loose ends. He did it. He said so. I believe him. And the story.
Look, I know you have a meeting with Heather or Mandy or whatever her name is, but I grew up on the North Shore of Boston and I know what a bad catch smells like.
Yes, I have an important meeting with an informant who...
Oh, please, the whole department knows about your informant.
Okay. You want to play Joe Friday? Then go ahead. Knock yourself out. But don't take all day.
Paul returns to his place on the stage left side of the table, but stands behind Toby. Sophia takes the chair facing Toby and moves it to the stage right of the table, sits down.
Mr. Haas, Toby, may I call you Toby? Toby, tell me about the fire. You say that you started it. How?
You already know that.
I want to hear it from you. Tell me how you started the fire.
I just took a match and threw it, and boom, it all went up.
Tell me exactly how you started the fire, in detail.
I put some wood, some loose wood that was lying around, and piled it up, and then I got some other stuff, leaves and papers and stuff, and threw it on top, and then I lit it all.
Sophia looks at Toby for a moment, then glares at Paul, who changes his posture. Paul moves forward a few steps.
You were never a Boy Scout, were you, Mr. Haas? You see, in the Boy Scouts, they teach you how to make a proper fire. The leaves and the papers, what would you call it? The kindling, it's put under the wood. If you put it on top, it just burns off and there's no fire.
Yeah, well, that's what I did though. The leaves, the paper, wood, fire.
And that's it? That's all you did?
Look, lady, what do you want? Why are you asking me all these questions? I piled up some kindling, and I threw some wood down, and I lit a match, and poof, fire. What more do you need to know?
Well, for starters, you could tell me when you threw the gasoline on the wood.
What?
Paul lets out a deep sigh and sits on the edge of the table.
Gasoline, Toby? The fire was started with gas. You neglected to mention that very important part of the story.
Yeah, well, I just forgot is all.
Toby, you didn't start that fire, did you? Somebody else started it, isn't that so?
I started the fire. I burned the garden.
Wait, what did you say? Garden?
Sophie looks at Paul with a questioning look. Paul responds with a shrug.
Whose garden was it? Was that your garden, Toby?
Yeah.
A garden in the middle of a deserted lot?
Sophie slides her chair closer.
Toby, tell me about your garden.
It was beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful. There were tomatoes and cucumbers and all kinds of things.
How did it start?
Well, it's a funny thing, really. I was walking one day, not sure where I was, I guess, and I guess I had a little too much to drink and I got lost. Then I found myself in a neighborhood I'd never seen before. Then I see this garden on the side of one of the houses. It was the most beautiful thing I ever seen. There were so many colors and things lined up so perfectly. I just started at it until someone saw me and sent me away. But I came back to the shelter and I said, I wanted to have a garden. I told Mr. Russ and he said he would help me out.
Mr. Russ?
He's my buddy. He works at the shelter.
Mr. Russ got you the seeds so you could start a garden?
Yeah, he helped me. He helped me clear a small plot. We even went for walks and stuffed our pockets with good soil to put in the garden. It started small. Well, actually, it didn't start at all. At least not right away. But first, a couple of years, nothing happened. Nothing. I was going to give up, but Mr. Russ said, well, he said it just takes time. Then one day I saw a sprout, and then another, and another. And soon I had me a small garden. It was like I had seen that one day, bright colors and straight rows. You know, it was the one thing that I was ever good at, and it mostly kept me away from the booze.
So what happened?
My garden kept growing. At first, I ate the vegetables myself. I didn't have to beg for food so much. I kept making the garden bigger and then added more plants. And when people saw what I was doing, they donated seeds and tools and supplies. And well, then soon I was giving food away, not just to my buddies, but to anyone who showed up at the shelter.
And when did you decide to just burn it all away?
Mr. Russ got mad at me, said I shouldn't have let the garden get so big. Said I was, how did he put it? I was upset in the apple cart. Kind of funny. My garden was upset in the apple cart.
Why would your garden make him mad? You were focused on something important. You were even providing food to other people.
He said that because of me, they wouldn't get any more Christmas presents.
What?
No good deed goes unpunished.
Sophia looks to Paul for an explanation, but Paul responds only with a laugh.
You're not seeing it, are you, Detective? Oh, sorry.
You're not saying it, are you, Detective?
Enlighten me.
Homeless shelter depends on donations from people who think it needs their money. It relies on a perception of need.
And if that perception changes, so does the flow of aid. No more Christmas presents.
You done good, Mr. Haas, too good. You started handing out free food to hungry people from your garden and made your shelter look self-sufficient.
That's bad?
It is to a shelter that depends on a free flow of donated cash to support itself, its clients, and its staff.
Is that why Mr. Russ got mad at me?
Yeah, I imagine he got plenty mad.
Toby, did Mr. Russ tell you to start the fire?
He was my friend, and he got so upset, I didn't know what to do.
Toby, did he tell you to burn your garden?
Toby remained silent. Maybe he has heard sobbing.
You couldn't do it, could you? You couldn't burn down all that work you did, all those plants you loved.
Toby remained silent and emotional.
I think that was something
Probably.
wrong.
Yeah, that's an incorrect.
One of us would have said
Oh,
that.
Right.
After a few moments, he shakes his head to indicate a no. After another moment, he speaks.
He told me take a long walk, and when I came back, it was all gone.
Who, Toby? Who told you to take a walk? Toby, you can tell me. Let me help you.
Mr. Russ.
He told you to take a walk, and when you got back, the garden was gone? Toby, if Mr. Russ set fire to your garden, if he killed all those beautiful plants you worked so hard to raise, he's not your friend. You fed people who were hungry. That was a good thing. It was the right thing no matter what Mr. Russ may have told you. Do the right thing now, Toby. Did you see Mr. Russ start that fire?
Toby hesitates again, then shakes his head to indicate a yes.
Great. There goes my very informative lunch.
Toby, you're free to go for now.
Can I go back to the shelter?
Sure. And I'm going to see to it that you get a chance to start another garden.
Yeah? And can I go see Mr. Russ?
Oh, well, Detective Danielson and I are going to have a little chat with him, but I suspect he may have to go away for a little while.
Oh,
There are others, Toby, who would want to be your friend. Good friends who won't lie to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Come on, Toby, I'll walk you out and get one of the officers to give you a ride.
Paul escorts Toby out. Sophia sits for a moment where she is, then stands, pushes Toby's chair back under the table. She exits.
You can stay. Honey, you go.
I go.
And we're gonna do, because I have the next one by Ken, and we'll just keep rolling, okay? Okay.
You beat it out of me.
Okay, Joe and Tom,
Change seats, or stay?
and then, you can stay there, because then we're gonna do this, the same playwright,
Yeah.
and then we'll discuss the two plays.
We have two characters.
I looked away when you, who's who? I looked away when you.
Joe and Tom.
I'm Joe.
Yeah.
This time?
Sure.
You see?
Why not?
Moonwalk, a 10-minute comedy by
I'm Joe.
Kenneth P. Langer. Two astronauts leave their spaceship to walk on the surface of the moon. They are assigned to fix some machinery, but one of them decides to
I don't have
explore.
it.
No, you don't have the first page.
Well, then we have to listen, I'm sorry,
You
start
have to
that over.
Yeah, I didn't know how to pay attention.
We were expecting to read, so.
Yes.
Two astronauts leave their spaceship to walk on the surface of the moon. They're assigned to fix some machinery, but one of them decides to explore and finds a strange object that directly affects both of them. Cast of characters. Joe, call sign Eagle 1, an astronaut on the surface of the moon or a planet. Wears a spacesuit, very curious and lighthearted. Tom, call sign Eagle 2, another astronaut on the surface of the moon or a planet. Wears a spacesuit, very professional but likes to have fun. Houston, the communications officer.
That's you. You're doing Houston, sorry.
You look like Houston.
Yeah.
The entire city.
Have a problem?
Here's a good one. The characters can be of any gender or ethnicity. Changes in gender-specific words can be made where needed.
Okay.
Scene. The majority of the center and upstage is the surface of the moon or planet as seen through a video feed. The effect is created not so much by the stage or props, but through the actions and words of the two actors portraying the astronauts. Their movement should be slow and bouncy as if walking on a low-gravity environment. Their words should be spoken slowly and can sometimes be clipped, as if the feed is temporarily interrupted. They may even make occasional jerky movements or add garbled sounds.
That's me.
Downstage and to the stage right is a table and chair facing upstage. Various props can be put on the table to make it look like an electronic communications station, but are not necessary. Side curtains should be black and visible slightly to the audience. The time, the present or possibly a near future, where further space exploration is possible. At rise, Houston is seated at a table facing upstage. Eagle 1, this is Houston. Do you read? I say again, Eagle 1, do you copy? This is Mission Control. Joe enters from stage left. He moves in slow with a bouncy motion as if on the surface of a low-gravity planet.
Copy, Stan. I read you 5 by 5.
Very good, Joe. Can you give me a status update?
Roger that. Temperature is good. Suit seems fine. Oxygen levels at 81%. Shouldn't have had that dehydrated chili though.
Feeling a little fresh in that lower compartment, eh, Eagle 1?
That's a Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger?
Isn't your name Roger?
No, it's Reginald.
Reginald?
Yes, Reginald. Can I get an update on your mission, please?
Roger, Reggie. We're ready, steady.
Could we stick to protocol, please?
I read you loud and clear, Houston. Stand by. I am en route to the radar array to fix some stuff as defined in the mission thing.
Repeat your transmission, Eagle 1. I'm not sure I received it correctly. Eagle 1, would you please check the O2 CO2 flow in your suit? We think the mixture may be off.
External gas mixture adjusted.
Copy that, Eagle 1. Feel better?
That's a Roger. I mean, yes. Sorry about the confusion. Mission is still a go. Reaching radar now.
Joe moves to a real or imagined device and begins working on it. Eagle 1, be advised, we have signs of intense solar winds on way to your position.
So advised, Houston. Could you repeat those adjustment specs for the polarization?
Copy, Joe. We need a 2.3% angle rotation on the microwave.
Copy. 2.3 angle adjustment, standby. Use. I'm going to need the next size calibration wrench. Stand by.
Mission control standing by.
Eagle 1 to Eagle 2. Do you read?
This is Eagle 2, I copy. Nearly shoot it up. What is it, Joe? Did you forget which way to turn the wrench?
I need the number 4 calibration wrench. I only brought numbers 1 to 3.
Tom crosses from stage left towards Joe, moving in the same slow and bouncy low-gravity manner. Just before he gets there, both Tom and Joe act as if they're knocked over by a sudden blast of wind.
Whoa.
Whoa!
What was that?
High solar winds.
And very little gravity to hold us. Here you go.
Hands Joe the wrench. Eagle 2, this is Mission Control. What's your status?
Everything checks out here. O2 levels at 8%, 87%. Temperature stable, no check engine lights.
We copy you, Tom. Tom slowly reaches down and pats Joe on the shoulder. Joe nods and gives a thumbs up sign. Tom responds with the same sign. All of this happens at a painfully slow speed.
Houston, this is Eagle 2. Eagle 1 seems to have everything under control. I would like to take the opportunity to explore the perimeter of the collect further samples.
Stand by, Eagle 2. We'll check with command and control. Okay, you're a go.
Copy, Houston. Going for a stroll. Shout if you need. Genjo.
Copy that, Tom. Watch it. Step.
Will do.
Tom turns and heads upstage. He is seen moving around. At first he collects samples, then he motions as if he's playing golf, then surfing. Eventually, he makes his way to the stage right side curtain.
Houston, Big One. We may have another problem here. The UHF band is me audio reruns of the first episode of Star Trek.
Please tell me you're joking, Joe.
That's me, Joking Joe. You remember the episode where the Leonard ambassador appears to be a beautiful woman, but turns out to be a monster that sucks the salt in your body? I think some of the engineers back on the Earth's the same way. I always thought it was strange that there were never any saltine crackers in the bake room, but no one would touch my wife's coffee cake. Of course, that could also be attributed to my wife's coffee cake tastes more like a disposed coffee grounds. But she means well.
Just proves the point that we should limit our salt intake.
Exactly. Who wants to look like they're just been bear hugged by a giant octopus? And then there's the whole question of Professor Crater. He called himself the husband of the salt-sucking succubus. I mean, you can see the obvious problems there. Almost got this antenna mount relocated. There it goes. Just need to lighten it down now, tighten it down now. Anyway, Professor's sodium deficient wife is also a shapeshifter who kills by touch. 1 minute you think you're talking to your mother, and then suddenly you're in an addition to her spice rack. And the late night romance. That must be tricky, like dancing with a giant squid in heat. Who knows what she thinks about salt shakers?
Tom turns suddenly to face stage right and becomes transfixed.
What do you think, Houston? 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 Do you copy?
This is Houston. We turned the speaker down for a few moments for maintenance.
Right.
Oh my God.
Eagle 2, you're breaking up. Could you repeat your last transmission?
I don't believe it.
Tom, what is it?
I saw something in the distance and it decided to investigate.
What did you find?
A giant black monolith.
You're kidding, right?
Eagle 2, check your levels again, please. You may be experiencing some problems with your suit.
I'm going back to check out this anomaly. This could be an important discovery.
Eagle 2, that's a negative. Do not attempt to engage with any unknown substances or structures. I repeat, do not proceed.
I have to. It's practically calling for me to touch it.
Tom, don't be a fool. You don't know what you have there. Think about what you're doing. Houston!
Go ahead.
Permission to retrieve Eagle 2 and drag his butt back to the IM, to the LM.
You're a go, Eagle 1. Move with the greatest haste.
Copy that. I'm coming, buddy.
Joe turns to run toward Tom, but has to move painfully slow. Tom touches the black curtain on the side of the stage, then puts his hand behind the curtain and pulls it back.
My hand, it just went right through the thing, like it wasn't there. It just kind of tangled for a moment, like there was some kind of static energy in there, like there was a, whoa.
Both Joe and Tom are pushed by another gust of solar wind. Joe rolls slowly to the ground, while Tom is pushed behind the curtain and off stage. Joe works himself back up and notices Tom is gone. He moves toward the spot where Tom was.
Tom! Tom! Where are you? Tom! Houston! We have a problem.
Go ahead.
Eagle 1 has been blown right into the object.
Have you reached the site yet?
Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Affirmative.
What do you see?
I can't believe it. It's Joe, I think. Wait a minute. It's Tom, I think. I see him rolling around it there. Now he's changing shape, like
Any chance for an attempt at rescue, Joe?
I could maybe reach in there and attempt to pull him out, but
What's the problem?
I just don't want to end up a salt lick.
This isn't Star Trek, Joe. Pull him out of there.
Roger, mission control.
Joe reaches behind the curtain and takes Tom's hand. He pulls him back onto the stage. Tom cries and whines on the floor like a baby.
Houston, we...
Yeah, we have a problem. I know that. Just tell me what it is.
Tom is acting like a baby.
Oh, come on, Joe. You be more professional about this. Just because he may not want to come back to the landing module with you.
No! He's really acting like a baby. An actual baby. I mean, he's on the ground eating and having a tantrum. Recommendation?
Well, I'll have to get back to you.
Oh, forget it. I'm pushing it back in.
Wait, no, you don't know what that thing will do to him. Joe entices Tom to get up, then pushes him back behind the curtain. After a moment, he reaches in, pulls him back out. This time, Tom stands up, but has the demeanor of a teenager.
Dude, that was some kind of wild ride. What am I tripping on?
Joe, what's happening? We see you pull them out again. What's going on?
He's turned into a teenager. I think he even has acne.
Got any chips, man? Hey, what's this crazy outfit? Not my thing, man. How do you get this thing off?
Wow, she's hot.
Where, man?
Joe pushes Tom behind the curtain again. Waits a moment, then pulls him back out again. This time, Tom acts like an old man.
Hey, what's the matter with you young people today? Do you have to pull me along like I'm some kind of a toy wagon? And what's with that outfit? You kids are always coming up with these crazy way to make yourselves up. Creative expression, huh? I remember
As Tom
when...
talks, Joe slowly pushes him back around and pushes him back behind the curtain. Joe?
Never mind.
Joe pulls Tom back out again. This time he seems normal at first, but speaks with an older woman's voice.
Tom? Is that you?
Of
Do you
course.
recognize me?
Of course
I recognize you.
I think I got him.
That's a big affirmative. Check his oxygen level. We think he may be dangerously low.
Copy.
Joe fills with Tom's suit and reads a meter.
15% and dropping. He must have used up a lot on his way here.
Okay, Joe, you have to get him back right away. It's going to take time to get him back, and he barely has enough oxygen now.
Understood. Okay, Tom. We're going to get you back to the LM right away.
Oh, I know how this goes.
Okay, good. Now, come on.
This is how it always is, isn't it? I'm in the way. Why don't you move out of the way? You're always in the way. That's what you say. You think I want to control every part of your lives, but I don't. I just want it to be involved and be included. Is that so much to ask? I've been through life. I've seen a few things. Maybe you could listen to me once in a while. Maybe you could.
Can't I just push him back in? Maybe he would be better off in that giant skyscraper.
What's the problem, Joe?
I think he's turned into my mother-in-law.
Maybe you could, and, well, you never listen to me.
Tom continues to rant and rave as he's guided off the stage, led by Joe.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we should talk to Kenneth. And let's talk about the first one,
Yeah.
the police drama. What do we think about that?
Run it through one time without.
Any-
Yeah, I
I
tried.
like that.
Bullshit.
It took a little while to get to the point, but began to feel for the poor guy.
Yeah, I thought he was a very sympathetic character. Yeah.
Who was? Oh.
No, Tobias.
Oh, we were in the.
Yeah,
oh,
we're talking about the
I'm
first one.
sorry, I just came out of this person,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Take your price. Check your oxygen
I
level.
have to check my oxygen levels.
I think you guys did a very nice job with both of them. You know, that was a challenge on the second one, but you picked up on it right away. But on the first one, you were performed very nicely as the cops, and Dan, you did a great job as the homeless guy, right? And I thought that going back to that, when we grow the grasses,
Great,
the
was
garden.
great.
I think that
There's one thing,
yeah.
you know, I was surprised when they were saying how the result of him having this garden would be, I thought the other guy was on the take, that it would mean less things coming to the shelter, or the same amount, but he would take it, you know? So less people would give, so there'd
Yes.
be less for him to take on the
Also
side.
less salary, you know,
Well, but
maybe?
but I thought more that he, you know, less that he could like hide, that he was taking.
Skim.
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 Yeah, less that
Uh-huh.
he could skim, that's where I thought he was going with that, so.
Yeah, I don't think that was specific, but obviously he was taking it personally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tobias said that the garden didn't grow for several years, and then it started to sprout.
Well, I don't know years,
Well,
but
he
for
said-
a long
he said-
time,
yeah,
a long
A
time.
couple of years,
Yeah.
at least a couple of years.
Yeah, did he say,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
so that didn't ring true to me.
Should have taken months.
Could have taken a couple
Mhm.
months,
Right.
a couple of weeks.
Well, it depends on
Yeah.
how you're treating the garden, what the kind of soil they're dealing with, you know.
Well,
Or
it
is it
wasn't
a
even
lot?
Yeah, his perception of time.
Yeah, that's
It
true,
took a
because he was an alcoholic at that point, you know, so his perception of time may have been a little different than everyone else's.
Yes.
So have you been, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I would have liked to, I liked it on the first one, Toby. I would have liked to know more about Toby. I think he could be a more interesting character if you found out more about him through the conversations.
Where he came from, why he
Where
was
he came
homeless.
from, I mean, did he have really a high-paying job at one time? Was he a doctor or whatever, something? I just felt he could have been developed more.
Well, he said I'm not very good at writing, so he
Yeah,
didn't have
he's
an
not
education.
educated.
Right.
Yeah. Dan, I think you picked up right away on that he was kind of a
Basic.
ne'er-do-well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it didn't sound like he was someone who had been in trouble before, you know, like
He might have been a
Arrested,
special
jail.
needs kind of person.
might have been,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's possible.
That would have to be the interpretation of.
They seemed like a gentle soul.
True.
Yeah.
Yes, he did seem like a gentle soul.
You think he gave up, he flip-flopped too soon, Toby? And where he admitted, yeah, maybe I didn't do it?
I don't know, I personally didn't feel that way because his story kept falling apart, you know. How do you make a fire? Well,
Right.
you
Right,
gather
right,
some
you
wood,
do,
you
yeah.
throw stuff on top of it, and you throw a match. Well, they knew that that was not.
Right, but then we also, somebody thought, why did Mr. Russ care so much if, why would he protect Mr. Russ so much? Why would Mr. Russ care about a garden? I guess that was asked earlier, it just
Yeah,
didn't seem
whether
like
it was,
enough conflict, I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah, that there was some personal gain
Yeah.
for him.
It could be fleshed out a little bit more, I
Yeah.
guess.
And why did Toby protect Mr. Russ?
Well,
Well,
he might have been
it was
nice
his
to him.
friend,
Right.
his only friend,
Oh, my
yeah.
Yeah.
But he did turn, he did flip. And now, how about the space one?
Wow, that was like whiplash for the
2001.
characters.
It might be a lot of fun to do that, to come
Yeah.
out with all the different characters.
Yeah, I would have liked to have done the second one, without trying to do the sound thing that you were doing.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
like to have just run it through it once or twice to
Right.
see, because then you get what's going on. Then you get the jokes and stuff.
Yeah,
And then you have to work with it, then you have to play with it. I think we shouldn't have been doing that.
well, you started it.
Yeah, but you.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
right.
I was reading the directions.
I was so surprised when you fell right into that.
Yeah.
with the-
Yeah, that was,
the,
yeah, he put a lot of pressure on it, it was very good.
Yeah, yeah, but you had to
Thank
pick
you.
up.
Very much. You should have and giving phone calls to strange people.
Yes, yes,
And you have to be careful when you do that,
yeah.
as to what it is that
Is you're
you block.
eliminating, yeah, you wanna make
Right.
sure that the words that you wanna get
Right,
across
like
are.
a percent, you
Right.
could lose part of that, but not all of it.
I should be reading, Johnny Mathis should do that.
Chances are.
Chances are.
Yeah, I saw something fairly recently, and it was a block of words, a paragraph, written with like letters,
The
like
long letters,
transposed
yes,
long letters.
yes.
And, but you could read the whole
Yeah,
paragraph
yeah.
because
Yeah.
your brain figures out
Right.
the missing.
You know, Bob, as
Yeah.
long as every letter of the word is there, even no matter what the order, you'll still get the,
Yeah,
you'll
right,
still get
exactly,
the word.
exactly.
Yeah, you can interpret it.
It's-
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
wish
those.
Google could do that.
I'm gonna be talking like this for a couple of days, so she's gonna get really pissed off at me.
Okay,
Joanne, I enjoyed the concept, but I thought the ending was not as good as it could have been
with the mother-in-law.
with the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
I'd rather see him. He's going through different stages of his life, and then he turns into the mother-in-law. We got
Well, it was all based on 2001: A Space Odyssey,
Yes.
the whole concept
Yeah.
thing there.
Well, was
And-
there a
and-
mother-in-law in there?
And, well, that's it, to end it with a joke, I don't know, if
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
I mean, because it was supposed to be funny, I think.
Oh, yes, it was a comedy. and-
Yeah,
and-
so ending it with a
yeah.
And
mother-in-law
if he was standing
joke.
up and you could do the slow.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it could be a lot of fun to do this one.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
all right, so then